everyone, today we're going to talk about passive and active voice. First of all, what is active voice? Active voice is when the first subject is performing the verb. So it is when the subject, like in this case the girl, is performing the action, which is read a book. This is the type of sentences that you usually write, okay? The girl read a book. The subject makes the action. On the other hand, passive voice. In passive voice is when the first subject is affected by the verb. This means when the most important thing is the action. In here, what happens is that what would usually be your subject goes to being the object, and the object goes to being the subject. So instead of focusing on the girl reading the book, we're focusing on the book. The book was read by the girl. Now, let's practice. The idea is that you identify if the following sentences are in active or in passive voice. So let's do that. The boy threw a ball. A letter was written by my mother. The car was fixed by James. Julie and Anne cooked lasagna. Let's find out the answers. The boy threw a ball is in active voice. It is in active voice because the subject is performing the action. A letter was written by my mother is in passive voice because my mother is receiving the action. The car was fixed by James is in passive voice because James, which would usually be the subject, is receiving the action. And in the fourth one, Julie and Anne cook lasagna, we have that it is in active voice because Julie and Anne are the ones making the action, are the ones cooking the lasagna. This topic is important because the idea is that you learn to transform sentences from active to passive voice and from passive voice to active voice. So how would we change a sentence? This is the steps that you need to follow. The first step is to identify the subject, the direct object, and the verb. The second step is to decide in which tense is the verb. The step 3 is to check how to change the verb. This means to go to the chart and decide if the verb is in simple present or in simple past. What would you add? How would the structure of the verb change? And the step 4 is to write the sentence in the correct structure. Let's see an example. So we have this sentence. The girl eats an apple every day. In this sentence, our subject, the person doing the action, would be the girl. Our verb would be eats, and the direct object would be an apple. Remember that the direct object answers the question, what? So my question would be, what does the girl eat? The answer would be an apple. That is why the direct object is an apple. Now step 2. We know that the verb is eats, and because it has an S at the end, we know that we are talking about simple present. Let's go to step 3. This is the chart that I was talking about. So in this chart, you would have to look for the verb, the tense of the verb that you are deciding. So if I know that my verb is in simple present, just like on the example that I gave you, I know that I'm going to use am, is, or are plus the past participle of the verb. Remember that the past participle is the third verb, the third column on the verb list. So, this is the original sentence that you had. The girl eats an apple every day. I would change it. In passive voice, the first thing that we change is the direct object to the beginning of the sentence. So, I would start with an apple. Then, my verb. My verb is eats, but because it is in simple present, I have to change it to am, is, are, plus past participle. Because it is an apple and it's only one, I would put is. And then the past participle of eat is eaten. And then by the girl, we change the subject and the complement of the sentence doesn't change, so we leave every day. So instead of having the girl eats an apple every day, we have an apple is eaten by the girl every day. So the structure would be the direct subject, verb, then you add by, and you put the subject. Putting by on the subject is optional. You're not always going to use it, but we're going to talk about that later. So remember, the step 1 is to identify the subject, the direct subject, and the verb. Step 2, deciding which tense is the verb. Step 3, checking the chart that I gave you, how to change the verb. And step 4, write the sentence in the correct structure. This is how you would transform a sentence from active voice to passive voice. And you would also do the same from passive voice to active voice. Thank you.